Hey guys, Mark Twain once said that there's nothing more confident than a Christian with four aces, but I would like to correct Mark Twain. Of course, it is now the modern era of 2010. There's nothing more confident than a Christian with a brand new front tire on his motorcycle. Are you guys ready to ride? Yes. Always get on the bike from the left side. We are mounting the bike and we're ready to go. Make sure that kickstand's up, visor down. Bike is all gassed up with 91 octane, 91 Supreme here at Chevron, and we're off. Okay, now I'm going to do a little talking here while we're riding. We're going to be getting on the mean, unforgiving, evil freeways of the Inland Empire here. I am doing a show, a call-in radio show at Shock Radio. You'll see it on the video here down below. And I'm inviting atheist Christians, regardless of what faith you are, you can call in and provide proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct. Yes, the show was listed under comedy because you really have to take atheism based on faith. The madness of atheism, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, is that it is faith in nothing. As you guys know, I used to be an atheist, and I weighed in one hand all the proof and evidence that atheism had, which was nothing. You couldn't even fill a thimble. And then I weighed in the other hand all the proof and evidence that Christianity had, and there was semi-truckloads full of proof and evidence for Christianity being accurate and correct. Prophecies that have came true, etc., etc. So I am now a Christian, born again. Look at those beautiful mountains up there. We got snow in the mountains. I don't know if you can see them. I'll try to get you on the freeway. Very windy today. Now, I'm going to talk in this video. It's going to be a humorous video, but it's not really meant to be humorous. Sometimes when I talk about atheism, it turns out that way. I can prove to you guys that atheists really don't believe what they say. They really don't believe what they're saying. Now, I'll prove it to you. When I am talking to my friends that are still in the humanist religion of atheism, and by the way, we know the courts have ruled that atheism is a religion. So when I am talking to my friends in the humanist religion of atheism, I will ask them why they keep preaching to me their atheist beliefs. They're like evangelical atheists, to use Pastor George's term, of which I am going to borrow. I'm sure he won't mind. They are evangelical atheists. Here we go, out into the mean, unforgiving, evil freeways of the Inland Empire. What I mean by evangelical atheists is that they preach atheism. They preach it as if there's any real benefit to it, of which there's none. And I will prove it to you. But in this video, I am going to prove to you that atheists really don't believe what they're saying, what they are preaching. I will prove it to you. Even when I was an atheist, I really didn't believe it. I will talk to atheists and I'll say, look, the fundamental message of atheism is that when you die, you go into the ground and that is it. End of game, end of story. That's the fundamental truth of atheism. So why are they so, why do they have such a sense of urgency to preach atheism to us? It doesn't make sense. And I'll give you an example. I was in the Stickum chat room the other day and I was asking, and let's get up some key here. I was asking this atheist in there, I said, where do you believe that you go when you die as an atheist? And, oh, there's nothing. I'm just worm food. I go right to the dirt. Right into the dirt was their comment. Now, I then asked him, I tricked him, and I said, well, where do you believe I go as a Christian? Where do I go when I die? And I'm yelling because it's very windy. Where do I go when I die? And they said, well, you go the same exact place. Did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? The atheists believe that Christians go to the same exact place, making Jesus, of course, a liar, because Jesus said absent from the body, present with the Lord. Paul talks about being absent from the body, present with the Lord. Jesus said he goes to prepare a place for us. He wouldn't have told us if it wasn't true. So to embrace atheism means you have to call Jesus a liar. Now listen, I am not going to call Jesus a liar. The nicest person that ever walked this earth. So, as promised, I'm now going to prove to you that atheists really don't believe what they say. Atheists will tell you, I don't believe in God, yet they spend so much time talking about him. Now, as you guys can see, I am on a Suzuki. If the world out there said no, shock, you're on a thing called a, let's just make something up that doesn't exist. A lacquer. I don't know, lacquer, some motorcycle called lacquer. I would not spend my whole life trying to refute nutcases that are saying that I'm on a lacquer or whatever, some fake thing. You see, it doesn't make sense, does it? Why would you spend so much of your life talking about something that doesn't exist and promoting it and bashing it? But I've noticed that that's what atheists do, is they'll say God doesn't exist, then they'll open up the Bible and they'll talk all mean about God. Look when God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, how evil God was. Well, wait a minute now. No, you just said God doesn't exist. Well, he doesn't, but I'm mad at him. How could you be mad at someone that doesn't exist? Ray Comfort talked about this on our radio show. You can listen to him talking about how could you hate something if it doesn't exist, but the atheists do hate God. Now listen. Why would they promote atheism? We already know that atheism teaches that you go right into the dirt and there's nothing else. Well then, if they really believe that, even if they didn't promote atheism, isn't it true that we would go right to the dirt, nothing else? It is, isn't it? Whether they promote it like an evangelical atheist or not, if it was true, which it's not, but let's just assume it was, then they wouldn't have to preach atheism. They wouldn't have to preach the humanist religion of atheism, would they? So, ladies and gentlemen, you know where I'm going with this, don't you? The only logical explanation to why atheism is preached is that they don't believe it. And they preach it so they can get feedback from other people that think the way they do, and then they feel a little bit more comfortable in this world. They're not terrified or scared of the hell that exists that Jesus spoke of. This is why evangelical atheists preach it. It's the only thing that makes sense. You follow me? If they don't preach it, if they really believe what they said was true, and I'm going to pick up some speed here. If they really believe what they said was true, then they wouldn't even have to preach evangelical atheism, because they're going to go into the dirt anyway, so why preach it? I'm going to tell you why, because they don't believe it themselves. They don't believe it. They have to preach it because they want to get that bounce back feedback from people, other atheists, namely, that say, yes, you're right. And they can create a false world, ladies and gentlemen. A false world where atheism is true. But you and I know, ladies and gentlemen, that we live in the real world where atheism is a lie. Otherwise, they wouldn't be preaching it. Now, I'm going to be taking live calls on the madness of atheism at shotgunnow.net, April 4th. If you're an atheist, call on in. I will do some Santa Claus detoxification. I will help people escape Santa syndrome.